everyone, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, my name is Lauren and I'm so grateful to have you here today with me. Guys, it is April and we are 1/4 through 2025, and that is just an insane thought to me. Like, where has this year gone? We literally are zooming through this year, and the best thing about it is that there are so many new releases coming out just in April, but also the remaining year. Like, in April, Abby Jimenez and Jessa Hastings is coming out with a book. And then in Lauren Roberts is also coming out with Fearless. And I think that is the last book in the Powerless series. Chloe Walsh also just said, hey, by the way, here's releasing time coming out in May as well. We are getting all the sweet treats for books this year, and I am loving it. But in March, I read a total of 7 books, and most of these books made me feel many things. And when I mean many things, some of the books I probably should have DNF'd. Some of these books made me cry, and some of these books made me feel like I was going into a slump. But without further ado, let me just go ahead and just jump straight into it and tell you my thoughts and ratings on these books, because I have a lot. I have a lot of thoughts, if you know me. So the first book I read in March was Bride by Ellie Hazelwood, and this was actually the first Ellie Hazelwood book that I ever read by her. And I'm just gonna say this, y'all. I think BOOKTOK and everyone else's opinions got to me on this one. I gave this 0 stars. And whenever I mean 0 stars, I mean when I look at this book, I'm not really thinking of anything. I didn't even feel like I had the right to just rate this book, if I'm being honest. So honestly, this has no rating. When I look at this book, I just think, what did I read and why did I continue this? Why did I not just DNF this? Here, let me explain though. I picked this book up 3 separate times. I picked this book up a couple of months ago when I read 0 to 25-30%, and I wasn't really enjoying it, so I put it back down. The 30% to 50% of this book I actually did enjoy. I actually listened to the audiobook and I was eating it up. But then I forgot about the audiobook on Libby and I lost it. So after that, a couple months later, I picked this bad boy back up again, and unfortunately, it just didn't click with me anymore. I feel like the story just felt very blank to me. I felt really no connections, and I feel like that was kind of like my tall tale saying like, hey, you should go ahead and DNF this book. But a lot of people were like, just stick it through. It's so good. And unfortunately, I just could not connect with this. So I just don't think that I'm gonna give this a rating at all. I read the book. I think of it as a book that I did read, but I didn't really have any thoughts. I didn't not enjoy it. Like, I enjoyed some parts, but I didn't enjoy some parts. So it kind of feels weird for me to put like a star rating or like a label on this, but I think I was just mainly super excited for just the book and this, and everyone was hyping it up. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to think about this. The next book that I read in March was Wild Love by Elsie Silver. And this is the first book in the Rose Hill series. And I rated this 3.75 stars. Now, right off the bat, something that I did notice about this book and just like the new series in general is that the writing style was definitely different. From reading Chestnut Springs series to the Rose Hill series now, I definitely could tell that maybe within like 50 pages of the story itself. And it's not something that I really clicked with as much, so I definitely feel like that kind of affected the rating on this book. But another thing that affected the rating was the relationship between Ford and Cora. Now, Ford is the MMC and Cora is the child in the book because this is a single dad series, but it just didn't really click with me, their relationship. I feel like he was trying to understand her, but it just never really got to that point. Like, he was trying a little bit too hard, but I feel like on like the wavelength of this story, I was connecting with more like Rosie and Cora, like their relationship. I don't know if it's just because it's like girlhood, it's cute, like it's the girls, but I just couldn't really connect with Ford and Cora and their relationship in the entire book. Now, there are some things that I really did enjoy with them, and it made me smile, and it was super cute and super sweet. But another thing that I also really enjoyed was seeing like the old Chestnut Spring series like characters, which is Willa. Her coming in here, loved it. Literally loved her character. I just love her character so much. And Heartless, Katie, and I miss them. I need to reread them. But other than that, this book just didn't really give me much. The next book that I read in March was Teaming 7 by Chloe Walsh. Now guys, I've been waiting a while to read this story just because whenever it first came out, a lot of people said that they were like very disappointed in this and it was a letdown, but I waited and I waited and I waited and I gave this 4.25 stars. And I love Claire and Gibbsy. This story means so much to me as a whole because understanding Gibbsy's like point of view now and his fears and everything about him, like I just want to put this boy in bubble wrap and make sure no one else harms him. Like Gibbsy is literally golden retriever vibes and I just love everything about him. Now I wish we were to understand Claire a little bit more as a person because I feel like the main focus was mainly Gibbsy, as it should be, because we had to understand him a lot in the story. There was a lot going on. I was getting whiplash in the end. But I feel like I wanted to understand Claire a little bit more as a person. But I really did, yet again, I really did enjoy the story. The beginning really was set up nicely with how they were kids and, you know, just growing up. But then I feel like we just missed a couple key points. But overall, this just made me feel so much more connected to the characters in Boys of Tommen. And let me just say, Johnny and Gibbsy's like friendship in the end really is like solid concrete for me now, because like reading certain parts in the end for Johnny and Gibbsy, that just like from Gibbsy's point of view and then, you know, seeing Johnny react about certain stuff, if you know, you know. But yet again, this book, it gave me butterflies, it made me cry. Guys, if you haven't read the Boys of Tommen series, please do. Yet again, there is one character I can't really stand in this book, if I'm being honest, but I'm gonna obviously continue the series. Overall, please read it if you have not read it. Next up, we have Off to the Races by Elsie Silver, and this is the first book in the Gold Rush Ranch series. Now, I rated this book 4 stars, and I like this personally better than Wild Love, which is the first book in the Rose Hill series. And I think the only reason why I enjoyed this more than that is because this series is before Chestnut Springs, and I really enjoyed Chestnut Springs. Another thing that I also really enjoyed is that Billy, the FMC, reminds me so much of Willow, which is weird to say because they're not like the same, obviously, but I see some similarities that definitely really made me like the story a lot better. I feel like the banter between Billy and Vaughn was just super cute, but not only that, but Billy and the relationship with the horse in the story, I absolutely love it. I definitely really like the plot on how it was written and how the main focus is not just the romance. We do have a plot in the racing and how they take care of the horse, and the horse is a part of the story, and it's just not all romance. But yet again, the banter and the enemies to lovers and them just pranking each other, the MMC and the FMC, I just really enjoyed it, and it just kind of makes me feel at home. One more thing about this book is that Violet, one of the Eaton siblings, is actually introduced into the series, and I believe Violet does have a story, a book. I can't remember if there is one. I will put it up here. I think it's part of the Gold Rush Ranch series too, but this is how I think we are introduced into the Chestnut Springs series. So just getting a little bit of like the Eaton siblings like mention in the first book just made me feel like home. After reading Off to the Races, I read the novella for the Gold Rush Ranch series, which is Out of the Gate. And I believe this is focusing on Ada and Dermont, and I believe Dermont is Vaughn's grandpa? But I actually did not give this a high rating at all. I gave this a 2.75 rating. And the only reasoning is just because I don't really enjoy novellas. I feel like novellas are obviously fillers for a story. It's kind of like a bittersweet moment. It's, you know, something cute, like here's the character's side story, super simple, super short. But I feel like in this novella, we got barely any knowledge about Ada and Dermont and their relationship. They were always talking about the past, and I was kind of wanting to know what was happening with the past, what created their relationship. It was just the main focus of them in present day in the story. So I only gave that 2.75 stars, but I am very glad that I did see their side of the story. It was cute, bittersweet, short little moment, but something that I definitely probably could have honestly skipped over in the Gold Rush series. It wasn't something that I had to read. Next up we have is the first book in the Shatter Me series, and it is Shatter Me. Now, everyone has been telling me to read this book, and I finally picked it up because everyone's like, have you read this series? Have you read the series? I have not, and I finally picked up the first book. Now, the first book I actually rated 3 stars. Now, the reasoning behind my 3-star rating though is because this is a big series, not like an insanely big series, but we got a lot of novellas, and we got, I think, like 6 books itself, like not including the novellas. But this first book just jammed so much information into my brain right off the bat that I didn't really enjoy. But the thing that I really liked about it is that it's quick, it's easy, it's like a fun read, and it is also YA, so you're not really gonna like have a hard time understanding stuff. Maybe for like the political version, just because there's so many books, so many novellas, we have a long way to go, that it's gonna take some time to understand. But yet again, I enjoyed it. I'm like intrigued. It kind of reminds me of Divergent a little bit, which I do like. I did enjoy the like Divergent movies and entire thing, but it gave me the same feeling like Divergent, and I enjoyed that. So I will be continuing this. Yet again, 3 stars. I don't really know much about it. It's just one of those series that I think that I have to continue to really fully understand, and that's fine. But I believe there's a novella after this one that I'm gonna have to pick up, and I don't know if it's Aaron's POV. People said that it was. I can't remember if that's true or not, but I'm gonna read the novella and then pick up the second one and see where this goes, because I am intrigued. Last but not least, we have The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith, and I rated this book 4 stars. Now, this is the Fairy Loot special edition of this book. I originally wanted to pick up this book, but I didn't know Fairy Loot was like, hey, we came out with a special edition, until I opened up my book box, and this was a nice surprise. Literally love her. She's gorgeous. Love the art and everything about this book. But can we just talk about how this is giving major Bridgerton vibes? This is based off in England, 1848, and it also includes Fae, and it's like trials as well. So basically, like, there are 2 sisters, Lydia and Ivy, and something happens to Lydia one night, which basically is putting her whole family in ruin. And Ivy's like, to save this family, I am just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put myself into these trials, because the prince, Fae Prince, he needs a wife, and I'm gonna see if we can save this family. So basically, without ruining the book, she goes into these trials and endures a bunch of stuff that happens to her, but she still wants to know what happened to make Lydia possibly ruin this family. I want to know what happened. But this book overall, I enjoyed it. It was intriguing. I was giggling. I was kicking my feet. I was like, wait, hold on. I had a lot of like, what the heck's going on moments. And it does leave on a little bit of a plot. Well, it does leave on a plot twist, but I just don't know how to feel. I don't know if this is a series, and if this is a series, I am picking up the second book. But if you like Bridgerton and if you like Fae, this is up your alley. And I believe this is a new release as well. Like, I believe it released in February? Not so sure. I'll double check that. But if you like Bridgerton and if you like Fae and fantasy, please pick this book up, because this book was so good. And these are the books that I read in the month of March. I honestly feel like I liked maybe like 2 of these books that I read in March, which is honestly pretty sad to say, but I had a really weird reading month last month, and I hope that April is a lot better. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and share, and comment down below what your favorite book was for March, or what books are you looking forward to in April, or any 5 stars if you read this year, because I have not yet come across one. But thank you all for watching yet again, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!